Hello everyone, welcome to official YouTube channel of Officers Adda 24/7. How are you all? Let me know. So also let me know in the comment section those who have joined us live here. Am I audible to all of you? How are you all? So as you all know, those who are regularly joining our sessions or watching a recorded session, you all know that we have started back to basic series for your May 2024 paper, in which we are discussing each and every unit of yours with a conceptual understanding, the basic concepts which have to be remembered if you want to study the particular subject. If you want to understand the concepts, you have to go through a certain basic concepts. That's what we are discussing in this particular series, back to basic series. So okay, yeah, fine here. So this is our seventh class in which we are discussing your economic planning and in India and NITI Aayog. So if you remember, this is our third particular, I can say this is our third part of your economic planning in India and NITI Aayog chapter. So this is your third unit and this is the third part and the last part of this particular chapter. So as you can see, we have taken 3 classes to cover your this particular subject, this particular topic, i.e. IFS, economic planning in India and NITI Aayog. So in this particular session, this is the third part of the same topic. And what we are going to do here, first of all, in the part one, those who haven't seen the other parts, I will let you know. In the first part, I have discussed what is planning, what is economic planning, what are the objectives of economic planning, what is the history, from where the origin of planning have been seen, what is the history of economic planning in India. Then we have discussed planning commission in detail. This was the part one. In part two, we have discussed everything about the NITI Aayog. What is NITI Aayog, when it was introduced, why it replaced the planning commission, what are the roles of NITI Aayog, what are the features of NITI Aayog, what are the roles of state government, central government, and union territories there. Apart from that, we have discussed the composition of NITI Aayog, like how many members will be there. And in both the session, we have also practiced certain questions on the topic. Now, in today's session, this is the third part. So the same process we will follow here as well. We will discuss the certain concept and in the end, we will practice a certain number of questions here. So what we have to do here, first of all, in the back to basic series, we are going to cover the concepts, and in the end of the session, based on those concepts, we will be practicing the questions. Okay, so let's start today's session in which we are discussing your unit number 3, economic planning in India and NITI Aayog. This is our class number 7th, but the part of this chapter is third. Okay, this is the third part of this particular chapter of you. So let's start. Here where you can see module A, unit number 3 is there. And in this particular session, we will be discussing further about NITI Aayog as well as planning commission, what are the differences and what new strategy have been introduced by the NITI Aayog. So first of all, as per the NITI Aayog, that as we want our country to grow, every country wants to grow always. So if NITI Aayog has said, if the government of India wants the 10% growth, 10% GDP of the country, in that situation, there are certain key areas that have to be developed. It means if the government of our country wants 10% GDP every year, then there are 7 areas on which we have to start working. So what is GDP first of all? If we talk about GDP, GDP is gross domestic product. Gross domestic product means whatever production we are doing within the geographical boundary of a country of goods and services in a financial year, that money value of goods and services is known as GDP. So GDP is nothing, gross domestic product, the money value of all final goods and services produced within the geographical boundary of a country during the financial year. That's your GDP. So whatever production you are doing, that will increase your GDP. And if your GDP is increasing, so does your economic growth will increase. And if you want the growth of 10 years every year, you have to work on the 7 areas that is defined by the NITI Aayog. So the first area that NITI Aayog said have to be focused on, that is better infrastructure. Infrastructure means roads, building, etc., hospitals, schools, financial institution, etc. So this infrastructure have been divided into 2 parts. First is hard infrastructure and second is soft infrastructure. Hard infrastructure is such kind of infrastructure in which what we can say, it's a type of infrastructure which helps you to provide a physical network to give you the connectivity in the country. Like let's say, for example, roads, railways, ports, airways, all these are what? They are the hard infrastructure because they provide you the physical network. They are providing you connectivity with the other parts of the country, or with the other parts of the nation, the world as well. And the soft infrastructure is a type of infrastructure which is actually the infrastructure which we need if we want economy to go on. If we want economy to keep going, then we need a soft infrastructure development. That is like your schools, your hospitals, your financial institution, etc. So this is the first sector that NITI Aayog said we have to focus on. The second, they said that skilling India. If you remember, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, the skill development scheme was introduced by Government of India just to provide skills to the people. Now, if we talk about the literacy rate of the country, it's a very good literacy rate, but that do not provide the skills to the people. People got the degrees, but they are not properly educated, properly skilled. In the Kaushal Vikas Yojana National Skill Development Program, Government of India is actually providing practical skillings, like they will help you out to let you know how to use your skills. Let's say, for example, I have done the MBA and I got a very good marks in my degree. But what happened when the company have told me that you have to lead the team of 5 people? I was failed, for example. So I won't be able to lead just 5 people, and I have done the MBA and I got a very good marks in the degree. So what does it mean? It means I got educated, but I am not skilled. I do not know how to implement that knowledge in the practical life. So there's we are talking about that we have to skill India. That is very much important because if the human resource of your country is skilled, so does your country will develop. So now third is medical tourism and quality education. If I talk about the medical tourism, it's a kind of a sector that have very much potential to grow in the future. So a lot of people are living abroad, a lot of NRIs are living there, but when it comes to the medical treatment, they come back to India. Because in the foreign countries, in European countries, in US, the medical is so costly. It is so costly that you cannot afford that. You can't afford medical in the foreign countries. So that's why they come to India to take the medical treatment. So that's why it's a huge opportunity for our country to earn more and more money. With the help of medical tourism, you can earn a certain amount of capital that will help you to reduce or to eliminate the problem of scarcity of financial resources. And apart from that, quality education, it's very important. If you are not properly educated, if human resource is not properly educated, does not matter how much resources you are giving that particular human resource. If that person is not educated, he is not going to utilize your resources in a right way, and will not be able to provide you the right results. So that's why it is very important to provide a quality education. Welcoming businesses. How to welcome businesses? You can welcome businesses by reducing rules, regulations, taxes, duties on the businesses. Like if you want the foreign companies to come India, start a manufacturing unit here, start your plants here and help us to grow, or whether they can come to India and start their plants here, or whether they just want to invest in Indian business. You have to provide them relaxation. If you provide them relaxation, it will be easy for them to start the business in country. That is to start business in India. And that's what we want to the government to do here. Welcome the businesses. Then we have improving farming. You have to improve the farming because it's still in this situation, if I talk about 2023, it's still agriculture is the one sector which is providing us around 49% of employment. So 48.9% of employment comes from the agriculture sector. So it's very important you make this agriculture very strong in your country, because if agriculture is strong, it will provide more opportunities to the people. Okay, so we have to improve the farming. Cleaning India, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. I think everybody knows about Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So Cleaning India is a project that was started by Mr. Narendra Modi, and it's not like we are using the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan or Cleaning India campaign just to attract the tourism. It's very important for the hygiene. It's very important for the health of the people. So that's why Cleaning India is very much important. Then apart from that, going green. Going green means climate change. We have talked in the third or fourth lecture, I think. Climate change is what? When you start noticing, or when there is a long-term changes in the temperature of your country, So that is your climate change. And to stop that, we have to take certain climate action. For that, we have to go green. If you see green finance, green bonds, green GDP, these are the certain initiatives that we are taking to help us, to help India as well as the world to eliminate the impact of the climate change, to reduce the global warming, because it is definitely going to affect each and every person on the earth. The global warming is going to impact. It's not like only India is going to impact with this. Every country, doesn't matter how developed the country is, there's global warming harming each and every country. That's why with the partnership of all the countries in the world, we have to achieve this target. So that's why going green is one of the 7 key areas that we have to focus on. Okay, now next we have a so this is what I was talking about. There are 7 areas that you have to focus, that the government have to focus if government wants to achieve the 10% growth. Okay, now apart from that, if we talk about, we have discussed what is planning commission, we have discussed what is Niti Aayog separately. Now let's discuss what is the difference between these two. So the first difference is that planning commission used to make plan on centralized planning, that is top to bottom approach. At the central level, the central government used to make the plan, and the state governments and union territories, they have to just implement those plans. They did not have any kind of say in the planning of the country. So this was a top to bottom model, centralized planning by the planning commission. But Niti Aayog is doing bottom to top approach, that's a decentralized planning. So at village level, at a state level, at union territory level, at every level, the planning will be done. And from the lower level, from the village level, this planning will be taken to the higher levels. And then overall plan of the country will be made. And so this is how the decentralized approach is helping us out to make sure each and every rural area, urban area, metro cities of the country, every village of the country is growing. That's why we have started bottom to top approach. Apart from that, in the planning commission, the central government just used to set the growth target, the goals and strategies, and it had to be set to all the union territories, all the states, just follow or just achieve this particular target. You have to achieve this growth target, you have to achieve these goals, you have to follow this strategy. That used to happen in the planning commission. But in Niti Aayog, the states and union territories are evolved. They are evolved in the national development strategy in that will be consulted with the states, with the union territories. So every national development is in strategy that the Niti Aayog is making. All the states, all the union territories are participating in that strategy making process or decision making process. Now, in the planning commission, fundamentally central government institution without a state representation. Okay, so fundamentally, if we talk about a central government institution was there without the state representatives there. But in the Niti Aayog partnership with the state government to promote cooperative federalism. If you remember in the last session, that means the 6th class, we have discussed that Niti Aayog also promote the cooperative federalism. Niti Aayog try to make a right balance among the among the states and between the central and state governments. So cooperative federalism will help us to have a healthy competition in the economy. And if there is a healthy competition in the economy, you will be easily able to achieve your targets. Your targets will be achieved on the time because no one is against you. You all are working together. You all are working for your own or you for your own growth or for your mutual growth. So that's why the Niti Aayog is promoting the cooperative federalism that was not there in the planning commission. Now, decisions with the state only on annual plan. Sorry, discussion. With the states, there used to be single discussion. Hana, they used to do the single discussion with the state, and that was only one-sided discussion. Hana, but in the Niti Aayog, state will continue to receive support from removing bottlenecks or hurdles from their path, and they will also be able to approach the new institution, that is Niti Aayog, for consultation and capacity building. So every time the states will be involved, if they want a certain kind of help, they will be getting the help from the Niti Aayog, and they can come to the Niti Aayog for consultation and capacity building as well. So all these are the differences between the planning commission and Niti Aayog, and that's why we can say the Niti Aayog was introduced. All these are the demerits of the planning commission. That's why we had to introduce the Niti Aayog. So this is the difference between planning commission and Niti Aayog. Okay, now Niti Aayog has given us a certain strategy for new India at 75. So what is the strategy? Now, this particular topic have asked one question in May 2023 as well as in October 2023. So this is important. This is what you have to remember. So in December 2018, NITI Aayog published a comprehensive national strategy for New India. Okay, so a document have been published by the NITI Aayog, that was the National Strategy for New India, including the clear objectives for 2022 and 23. Okay, so what was this in this particular national strategy for a new India? It was a full exposition spanning 41 critical areas that recognizes previous accomplishment, identifies binding restriction, recommends a path to ahead to achieve the explicitly defined objective. So here the NITI Aayog has given us a certain document in which NITI Aayog has defined what we have to do, how we have to achieve the target, what are the critical areas where we have to focus, where we have to work, what are the what were our previous accomplishment, what we have already achieved and what we have to achieve, what are the binding restrictions now, what are the path you have to follow to achieve all the objectives and all the goals and targets. All this have been defined by the NITI Aayog in the particular document. Okay, so during the document creation, nearly 800 stakeholders from the central government, from the state government, from the district government level have been asked about this, and as well as 550, over 550 external specialists were also contacted at the time when this document was created by the NITI Aayog. So a lot of suggestions have been taken here, and after taking a lot of suggestion, a document have been created with the 41 chapters. How many chapters are there? 41 chapters are there, and these 41 chapters have been divided into 4 sections. How many sections are there? 4 sections. The first section is driver, second section is your infrastructure, third is your inclusion, and fourth is your governance. So these are the 4 sections of your 41 chapter national strategy for New India document that have been given by NITI Aayog. Now, till now, I have discussed 2 questions that is definitely going to be seen in the paper in form of one-liner question or a statement-based question or fill in the blanks. They can be asked. First, who introduced the national strategy for New India? Option will be given, answer will be NITI Aayog. Okay, second, they can ask the national strategy for New India that have been given by NITI Aayog with a full document of 41 chapters, in how many sections it was divided? So it was divided in 4 sections. It can be asked. So in that particular document, which of the following is not one of the 4 sections? So you have to find out which of the following is not not from drivers, infrastructure, inclusion, and governance. So this type of question can be asked from the national strategy for New India by NITI Aayog, and for this particular 4 sections of the document. These are very important. Question will be seen. Now, the next topic is financial resources for economic plans. So if you talk about financial resources and economic plans, if Government of India is doing economic planning, to implement that planning, like planning is free of cost. You can do planning right now. I can plan, I can go Switzerland, I can go, let's say, for example, Singapore or somewhere else. I'm planning this, planning free of cost. I can plan anything, hai na? But to implement that planning, you need what? You need a financial resource. You need a money. So economic planning, whatever economic planning Government of India doing, government need a fund for to implement that particular planning. And for that, financial resources are required. And there are 3 important financial resources which helps the government to raise the capital for the implementation of the economic plans. So there are 3 financial resources. So you can see in India there are 3 key sources of funds which are available to fund the economic plans of the country. Okay, so first we have domestic budgetary systems, second we have deficit financing, third we have foreign assistance. What are these? First of all, domestic budgetary sources are the way of earning money by Government of India in the budget. In the budget, government have a certain ways. By tax revenue, by non-tax revenue, government earn the money. By debt receipts, government earns the money. By debt receipts, then by non-debt receipts, by non-debt receipts. government earns the money. So these are the four ways by which government earns the money. And out of these four ways, the maximum money government collects is your tax revenue. The maximum funds government is collecting is from the tax revenue. So domestic budgetary sources, if you are talking about now this, but domestic budgetary sources, they are the sources in which the government is earning money from the budget. And this is the most, or I can say most of the funds which are available for the funding of economic plan that comes from the domestic budgetary source. The second most way to earn that money is deficit financing, and the third is foreign assistance. So they are in the same sequence. The first is domestic budgetary source, second is deficit financing, third is foreign assistance. Do remember the sequence, because on this sequence, October 2023, one question have been seen. Okay, so this is also one question can be asked from this particular slide. Second, what is deficit financing? So whenever government is making budget, the budget will always be estimated. You are estimating for the upcoming year that what will be the revenue of the government and what will be the expenditure of the government. So if you talk about the deficit financing, this deficit financing help us to bridge that gap between the revenue and the expenditure of government of India. And this can be done by government can raise money from public, government can raise money from RBI, government can order RBI to print new currencies. By these ways, government can raise capital and can bridge the gap between the revenue and expenditure, and that is known as deficit financing. The third one is foreign assistance. You are getting capital from the foreign sources, you are getting foreign grants, let's say for example, that's the foreign assistance. And this comes at the third number, which helps the government to raise capital for economic planning. Okay, so this sequence is very important. First will be your domestic budgetary source, second will be your deficit financing, and third will be your foreign assistance. Okay, now, so this was everything we have discussed till now about your economic planning in India as well as the NITI Aayog. So do remember all these things. In today's session, three questions are there. In today's sessions, three questions will be there in your paper. On the basis of the national strategy given by NITI Aayog for New India. Second, the four sections that we have discussed: drivers, infrastructure, inclusion, and governance. And then the financial resources, that is the domestic budgetary source, deficit financing, and your foreign assistance. So these are the three questions that can be seen in the paper. Now let's practice certain questions on the same. First, which among the following contributes the third most to the plan financing in India? So these are the options in front of you: domestic budgetary source, deficit financing, foreign assistance, and none of the above. I think we have just discussed this. They are asking the third most to plan financing in India. That's the foreign assistance, because most is the domestic budgetary source, the second most is your deficit financing, and the third most is your foreign assistance. So the same sequence they have been defined. So right answer will be your C option. Okay, now next. So question is asking filling the blanks, and filling the blanks, for filling the blanks you have a one big paragraph in front of you. But you will feel like this is a very difficult, this is a very tough question. But when you start studying now, when you start reading the paragraph, this particular fill in the blanks question, you will find this very simple. Let's start. So first is saying in December 2018, NITI Aayog published its comprehensive national strategy for New India, including clear objective for the financial year 2020-23. It is a full exposition spanning dash critical areas. So now you can eliminate the other options. How you can eliminate the other options? So elimination method always helps you. Hana? No matter what exam you are going to give, elimination method will always help you to answer quickly and to reduce the confusion among the options. Hana? So let's say the first fill in the blanks we have to fill. So you have to remember how many critical areas were there. If it was 800, and now you can see you do not have to waste time to read all the full question here. If you know the answer of first filling the blanks, you know the overall answer. Just if you remember how many critical areas are there, after that you do not have to read the other statements which are written here, because the first amount that is defining here, that is different: 800, 550, 41, 40. It means all the four options are different. If you know the one correct, the first filling the blanks correct answer, you do not have to read the other question. You do not have to read the rest of the question. So there were 41 critical areas. It means very simple, the right answer is C. Okay, but because we are only practicing here, so we will read the whole question. So critical areas that recognizes previous accomplishment, that is identifying binding restriction, recommends a path ahead to achieve the explicitly defined objective. During the document's creation, nearly dash stakeholders. How many stakeholders? Your 800 stakeholders. है ना? 800 stakeholder from the central government, state government, district level, as well as over 550 external specialists were contacted. The documents, 41 chapters, are divided into 4 sections: the drivers, the infrastructure, the inclusion, and the governance. So right answer will be C. And this question, I have done nothing in this particular question. This is the paragraph which is written in your book only. So the same paragraph I have taken and I have made the question out of that in the form of filling the blanks. So you have not to worry about whatever you are studying, the same question, the same language will be given to you in your paper. So what you have to do is simply focus on the study. As you can see, this I have given you whole explanation here. So you can see this particular paragraph is your question. These 3 paragraph and these points that have been asked here. Hana, so always you will find what you are reading. Nothing will come outside the syllabus. So do make sure you are covering each and everything. Okay. So this was today's session in which we have discussed all the questions here and the content here. But now this is not sufficient. We have to still cover the 12 5-year plans and the other assessment of the 5-year plans that have been done by the NITI Aayog. But all that we will be covering in the paid batches, not on the YouTube. On the YouTube, we are just covering the back to basic series in which we are covering only the basic concepts, which is important to study the whole syllabus of yours. Okay. So if you are thinking about preparing for May 2024 and you are still thinking about it, you haven't done anything else, do not waste your time, because right now this is your Diwali week, Hana. After a certain 1 month gap, not whole 1 month gap, you will find the new year, then you will find the Holi, then you will find the March closing time, and then you will be left with the last 1 month of April, and in May you will have your exam. So what are you waiting for? When you know you have to give the paper in the May 2024, when you know you have to clear this particular paper in May 2024, so what are you waiting for? Start early, now. So if you want to start early, then do enroll in the paid batches that will help you out to cover in minimum time the maximum syllabus. Okay. If you want to give the self-study for your preparation, for that you have to allot double time for your preparation. Okay, so accordingly you can decide. So you can see IE IFS batch is there, PPB batch is there, individual batches are there, as well as the comprehensive batch is also there. So if you want to enroll in any of the batches, what you have to do, you just have to go to the Adda 24/7 channel, Adda 24/7 application, use the code Y496 and you will get 80% discount here. Hana? And from the application you will get 1% additional discount, so total 81% discount will be available. So IE IFS is starting from 20th of November. From 20th of November we'll be starting IE IFS, and the PPB will be starting from your 8th of December. These are the dates. For PPB and IEIFS, both the subjects will be taken care by me. I will be your mentor in your paid batches as well for your IEIFS and PPB. Okay. And apart from that, if you want all these batches combined, if you want a comprehensive batch, you can go for this batch also. And if you want everything, if you want in the future upcoming revision batches of our 24/7, then go with the Mahapack. Here you will find double validity plus 81% discount just by using the code Y496. Okay. So how to enroll? Just visit the Adda 24/7 application. I will show you here. So this is the website. Click on the website, go to the exam categories. Here you have to go and select the JAIIB. Then go to the JAIIB May 2024. You will find the front page, the first batch will be available. If you click on the view, all individual batches will be shown to you here. As you can see, green images are for English medium. Apart from that, Mahapack is also there. How to enroll? Click on the particular product, do read all the information, click on the buy now option, and then use a code Y496. Okay, and click on the apply option. When you apply here, you will find 80% discount. For 1% additional discount, you can use the same code on the application and you will get 81% discount. So here you will have a 9-month validity for this particular batch. Okay. And if you find any problem at the time of enrollment, code is not working or something else, you can call on this number and ask your query here. Apart from that, do make sure if you want to join this back to basic series on the regular basis, you can join my session in the morning, okay, at 7:30 a.m. only on offices are 24/7. And if you have any doubt, you are watching a recording of the session. If you have any doubt, you can ask your query in the comment section also, because I'm checking each and every comment and I personally answer your queries there. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask you. Clear? So let's end the session here. Have a very good day, everyone. See you all in the next session of IE IFS in the morning at 7.